है. I would say आज is going to be environment friendly too. नमस्कार, आप सभी का तहे दिल से स्वागत है. मैं हूं सचिन कुंभार एंड शुक्रगुजार हूं कि आप आज सभी हमारे साथ मौजूद हैं. एक दरख्वास्त है, a humble request. I know it's very difficult for us to do it in today's day and age to put our phones on silent because, you know, the world will stop if we do that. But a humble request to please put your mobile phones on silent mode, if I could request all of you, so we could have a seamless proceeding. Thank you. Well, we bring this special event from all of us here at National Geographic as we gear up to celebrate our Planet on Earth Day this 22nd April. National Geographic announce kar raha hai ek aisa initiative which will set course for many meaningful and, you know, बहुत ही important conversations जो आज के टाइम में बात करना बहुत ज़रूरी है for the benefit of our planet. शुरू करने से पहले I would like to mention that our endeavor is to make this event zero waste to landfill event. हमारा यही प्रयास है कि कम वेस्ट जनरेट किया जाए एंड साथ ही साथ बताना चाहूंगा कि यहाँ पर all the material that has been used has been made by recycled materials. And मेरा आप सभी से यही दरख्वास्त है कि please join in, contribute and help us achieve that today. Now, without much ado, I would like to invite on stage Mr. Kevin Vaz, Head of Network Entertainment Channels at Disney Star, to join me on stage and take us through the initiative. It's a warm welcome to you, Mr. Vaz.
Thank you.
Thank you. The stage is all yours.
Thank you, everyone, and a warm welcome to all of you. Good afternoon. It's indeed an honor for me to have you become part of this momentous occasion with us at National Geographic. National Geographic is a brand that is deeply rooted in every person who wants to feed their curiosity and learn more about the world that they live in. Through our research and powerful storytelling, we have been shining a light on the importance of achieving a sustainable planet. From evocative photographs to remarkable expeditions to meaningful conversations, planet conservation has always been the centerpiece and at the heart of everything that we do. And today we are here to celebrate the planet on the momentous day, Earth Day, and launch a very special initiative, One for Change, that can help us drive a much needed and essential conversation of how, with just a small change, we as individuals can make a big difference to our planet. And to get this conversation going and help me launch a campaign, we have with us a planet lover herself, actor, UN Environment Program Goodwill Ambassador, Dia Mirza. Welcome, Dia.
Thank you so much, Kevin. Thank you for having me here. Good afternoon, friends. It's such a pleasure to see all of you after so long. I am so excited to be here today and, of course, celebrate Earth Day with brand National Geographic. I have to share a very special story, Kevin. I think, of course, everybody's love for nature is innate, but I think what really nurtured and cultivated my curiosity and my awe and love for nature was National Geographic. So in school, we had a fantastic library, and in the library, we had every single published National Geographic magazine. And I would spend hours poring over the magazine. And I remember, I think at one point I also wanted to be a Nat Geo explorer. So it feels like a bit of a full circle to be here today and to talk about all the special things that we are going to talk about today. But the relationship, and I'm sure everybody in this room will agree, that a very deep, abiding relationship with National Geographic is possible, it's intergenerational, and it's something that really expands our understanding and our love for the earth. So thank you for having me. It's
Pleasure.
A real pleasure.
Pleasure. I'm saying it's amazing to know a brand like this can inspire so many people and continue to inspire more and more. And I think initiatives like this, like One for Change, can only help take that further it even more. But I have a few questions for you. I'm saying the question that I have for you is, you've been known as a warrior for this planet. But have you ever questioned yourself that whatever contributions you've done as an individual, would it make a big change in this world?
You know, I think when you choose to be different or to take the path that is not traveled often, it can be hard, especially initially. Because firstly, the path that is not traveled is unknown and it can be terrifying. Also because most often you're on your own on that path. Not many have, become a part of that journey yet. I'll give you an example of, let's say, when I started working towards beating plastic pollution in my life. So it's now been 7 years, Kevin. I discovered the scourge of plastic. It really rankled me. It bothered me how we were so mindlessly using single-use plastics that there was just not enough infrastructure, not enough systems to manage that plastic waste, how it was entering our waterways, our food systems, polluting our soil, our air. All of that really bothered me. So I started with one simple step. I said, I'm going to refuse all single-use plastics. I'm going to carry my own bottle. Hashtag traveling bottle is a hashtag I started. And everywhere I went, everybody looked at me like I was an alien, especially in boardrooms or meetings or events or the red carpet or outside the gym or at the airport. I would always be seen, I still am always seen, with my metal bottle. And in the beginning, I was probably one of the few people who did it. I would often be asked, isn't it inconvenient? How do you manage? What's the point? Does it add up? And my answer would always say, it does. Because individually, I've refused many hundreds, and now, of course, I think it's gone into lakhs of bottles, of single-use plastic bottles. And now, whenever I travel, whenever I go to work, whenever I'm at an event, wherever I go, I see more people carrying their own bottles. So I think the community has grown, the tribe has grown, and more people understand the power of that one change we can make as individuals and the difference that it can make. I think you need two things to be able to see you through those choices. One is, of course, persistence, consistency, and of course the most important would be to essentially, just say that this is something I want to do.
No, that's so true. I'm saying is when you talk about that one initiative that you took, I'm saying it's not only about the bottles that you would have saved, I'm saying the plastic bottles that you would have saved these years, but I just think people around you, and you being such a big influencer, people around you automatically follow. Yes, and I think that makes a big difference. I'm sure this question has crossed everyone's mind, whether they as individuals, can they make that change? I think it's a misguided notion where you feel, me by myself, I don't think so I can do it by myself. Or you feel sometimes that, I think this needs a bigger initiative for us to drive this change. But really what I think is important for us, all of us, to stop doubting and start contributing and doing things. And that could make a world of a difference.
Absolutely. I really believe in the power of 1.3 billion people making individual choices. Imagine if each and every one of us did one action even out of love for the earth. We could make such a big difference. But what we need, more than anything else, is a resolute mind. We have to make up our minds to make that change, and we can.
You said it. I'm saying is a resolute mind. I'm saying is clearly one for change. One for change is clearly cheering those resolute minds. People who decided to follow their passion. People who decide to conserve the planet. And I think today we're here to celebrate that. Can we have a look at the AV, please? Yeah, actually, we can just step aside and maybe you can see.
So excited about this.
One for Change is about these individuals. They are the true heroes of our planet. If you hear their stories, the passion, the triumph, and their sheer love for this planet, we clearly felt that it required a national platform to showcase these stories. And that's why I'm saying is we started off by making these insightful, intriguing, short format stories that we could showcase to the world, reach out to tens of millions of viewers on National Geographic. And not only that, we decided to take it a step further, where we could showcase that across the Disney Star entertainment channels, so that this message can reach wide and far. And that for us, I think the big thing is, if we can actually make people think that if these individuals can do it, so can I think our job is done.
That's definitely what I felt when I saw the stories, and I'll talk to you more about what they made me feel. But I'm just really grateful, Kevin, that National Geographic is applauding these heroes, is celebrating the change that they are bringing to society as individuals. And, I think we all understand that when we tell stories well, and we offer the unique perspectives towards change, and we build that awareness, we help more people understand the power of taking that one step through these narratives.
So what we're going to be doing is this year, we're going to have 30 of these stories. 30 of these stories that we'll be showcasing right through the year. But we decided we'll start off with the 10 change makers. And we thought with Earth Day approaching on 22nd of April, we'll start showcasing these 10 change makers on the channel. And right through the year is where we showcase all the other 30 stories.
I can't wait to meet these 30 stories, but I'm very excited that I know many of these 10, and I'm looking forward to knowing more about them, and of course meeting them and introducing them to all of you.
Actually for us, I'm saying as we look at it, I'm saying is if these stories can uplift and inspire everyone in this country, our job is done.
They sure will.
I'm saying is we will look at trying to see how we can put it out there in high frequency so that we can reach up to as many people as possible. And if we can get our planet lovers to all think that if these people can do it, so can I think we can make a world of a difference as we go forward.
I absolutely believe that this is going to happen. Should we have Sachin come in and introduce?
Yes, because you know what? There's so much we've spoken about change makers and their stories, and we're looking forward to that. So before we introduce them on stage, we get them on stage, I'd like to get a sneak peek to the films that National Geographic will be launching on this Earth
Day. The films that I've been talking about.
So yes, can we have the audio visual, please?
Every time I see that AV, I get goosebumps, and I'm sure all of you are feeling very, very inspired and motivated. Rukmini ji said something so powerful that really stays with you. कोशिश की कभी हार नहीं होती है, हमेशा जीत ही होती है. And I think what National Geographic stands for and has stood for over 130 years is that effort to encourage, motivate, inspire, and help more and more people understand that all life on Earth is connected. We can all make a difference in our own unique ways. And I'm so glad we will have this group of 30 people inspiring change in India. Thanks to you.
Thank you. I think we should call, I'm seeing is the 10 change makers on stage now so that we can introduce them to everyone.
Yes. I can't wait to see them again.
Well, Neki और पूछ पूछ आपका हुक्म सर आंखों पर. We'll bring on the change makers right here on stage, and I request you to please join me on the right hand side so we could roll out the green carpet for them to join us on stage. Well, it's a small act of change that we need to start. Change always begins from home, and we need to do it individually. We always think that it's a task. How am I going to do it? Karunga to kaun karega saath mein. But it's from us, it starts with us. So we all have to contribute, and we have to be the contributors to better the future of our planet. And with that, the stage is set, we're ready, and I'll introduce, let's roll out the green carpet for our champions, the superheroes, the change makers. Aaj hamare saath hain 7 change makers. Do please greet them with a huge round of applause and cheer. They are the superheroes. First we have amongst us, please welcome Miss Vani Murthy, known as Worm Queen, spreading awareness about the importance of composting.
My Worm Rani.
Worm Rani, yeah. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Venkatesh Charlu, a pioneering marine conservationist जो कोरल restoration कर रहे हैं in Goa. Welcome, sir. Next, we have Dr. Purnima Devi Burman, the leader of the Hargila Army, working towards the protection of endangered greater adjutant stork. Namaskar, आपका स्वागत. We also have Mr. Tejas Sidnal, an architect who has innovated a unique tile जो carbon waste से बनी है. Welcome. Our next change maker, एक RJ है with Radio Bundelkhand, who's creating awareness on climate change अपनी आवाज का इस्तेमाल करके, and RJ style में बुलाऊंगा. Good afternoon and please welcome Miss Varsha Raikwar. Let's have on stage Mr. Vidyut Mohan, 2020 UNEP Young Champion of the Earth. Vidyut has created a machine that converts waste farm residue into products of value for farmers. And last but certainly not the least, Miss Rukmini Katara, जो एक CEO है एक solar company की, who's igniting a renewable energy revolution in rural India. कोशिश करने वालों की कभी हार नहीं होती. These are our change makers. Let's have a huge round of applause and give them a rocking welcome. And as they have been doing, woohoo! It's a pleasure to have all of you, and floor is all yours.
Kevin, you want to say something before you leave them with me?
Absolutely. Every individual on this stage is a true crusader for change. I would like to thank you for all that you do to conserve this planet, and happy to share your stories with the world. I shall now hand it over to Dia.
Thank you, Kevin. And thank you for sharing their stories with the world.
Thank you.
Oh, bada maza aayega. You guys know, right, that I live for moments like this. This is what gives me fresh blood in my veins. And I'm truly grateful to Nat Geo for highlighting your extraordinary stories. मुझे पता है कि ये आपकी जो कहानियाँ हैं वो सभी को बहुत ज़्यादा इंस्पायर करेंगी. आप में से कुछ ऐसे लोग हैं जिनको मैं पहले से जानती हूँ. I know what you do. I've had the good fortune of interacting with you, meeting you. And it just fills my heart with gratitude and joy that now millions of people across India and the world will discover your stories through One for Change. आपके सवाल obviously personal नहीं होंगे. I'm going to ask you one question each with the intention that your answers, which I know, will inspire very powerful stories that will further inspire many more people. I'm going to start with you, Vani ji. Tell me, you know I'm a huge fan of your composting, and I've learned so much from you, it's not even funny. I follow you on social media, and I've watched you through your compost journey. What is that first step that anyone can take to become a better citizen of the earth?
Thank you so much, Dia. And thank you so much for giving us this platform. It's wonderful. So I think the one step each of us can take is to recognize what is the impact of our actions on this planet, on the ecosystem, and connect deeply to that, because you have a reason why you need to take an action. Because today it's time to take action. It's action time, and every action that we take is going to make this planet a better planet, and we'll be leaving something behind. So if April 22nd is going to be the Earth Day, by just looking at your waste and segregating it and finding that 60% is compostable, and if each of us get excited about composting, I think every day is Earth Day, because we'll be building that beautiful soil. Thank you, Zia.
I'm my building's official kachre wali. So I know the power of that action, and the fact that imagine the multiplier effect if everybody recognized that 60% of their waste is compostable. What a big change we could make. Thank you, Vaniji. That truly is a powerful intervention. Venkatesh, I've been following your work and it's incredible to say the least. But my question to you is a little different. Because it's something that actually struck me when I was watching your story. You had a corporate job which you quit and to do the great work that you're doing today. What is your message for anyone who is probably currently stuck in his or her corporate job but wants to take that bold step towards doing something for the planet to make a difference? Not everybody has the gumption that you did.
To be very honest, I don't think you're right when you said that I gave up the corporate job and came to save the environment, because that's not true. Okay. I actually moved to Goa from Hong Kong after a long time in the corporate world. I was into banking. And then I wanted to get into diving, scuba diving. That was my passion. And somewhere down the line, an incident happened which ended up me saving an angelfish. And it literally came back to thank me. So that was the changing moment, if you want to call it that. So I think each and every one of us has got it in us. The only thing is that there is something which triggers that at some point in time. It would be nice for me to think that with National Geographic on our platform and that we are having such a huge outreach, we would be able to get people to move faster rather than having to stumble over something like I did. So I would really hope that it happens. And I think we all love nature deep down inside, but we have lost the connect with it. We are also involved in city life and in being involved in our own lives that we have lost that connection, special connection that we have always had with nature. So for everybody to get to that, I think, and if you do have that already, people still do feel a bit kind of apprehensive about leaving everything and moving into something which they know very little about. But we need to be bold. If you can make it, then the rewards are just unbelievable. And because it's coming from here rather than from here, I think that makes all the difference. So just get out there and do it. And that's what will make it all count.
Yeah, and do it within your space, whatever it may be. You may be a journalist, you may be a writer, you may be a doctor, a lawyer. We can all serve the earth while we continue to do the work that we do. Thank you, Venkatesh, for that. Dr. Purnima, you've said you created an army of all women, and might I add, to save an endangered species. But for the benefit of the audience here, how can one identify a local or an endangered species within their vicinity, and what is that first step that they can make towards protecting it? Because you discovered in Assam what you could do, but all of us seated here should also be able to discover something that we can do.
So thank you so much, Dia, for this question and for inspiring us. And thank you so much, everyone. I'm so honored to be here. And you can see my Hargila bird in my dress, made by our Hargila army.
Beautiful.
Thank you. So I want to give you a message that everyone can be a conservationist. We don't need to have a special diploma or degree for being a conservationist, and our Hargila army has proved that. And let's start everything from our own backyard, from our own home, because environment education begins from our own home, from our own backyard. So let's try to protect. It is not necessary that we have to go to the protected area to save an endangered species. Let's start from our own backyard with our everyday animals. Let's try to protect them, help them as much as possible, and we can plant native plants so that they give shelters, foods to our birds, our animals, and this way we can make a big difference. Every little steps counts. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Purnima. That's so true. I have to add here that I discovered the joy of cultivating a biodiversity haven at home, and it attracts all kinds of birds and bees and butterflies and gives me so much peace and love and joy. And I feel like I'm also making a small army of my own, because more and more of my friends want to do the same. They call me and say, "Apna plant list bhejna." I'm happy to share that plant list with all of you. But it's true what you said, Dr. Purnima. In fact, it perfectly connects with what Mr. Venkatesh said as well and what Vaniji said. As long as you have the heart and the intent, anything is possible. Every action will count. Okay. Now it's time to talk to you, Tejas, and understand that a lot of research, of course, went into understanding how to convert carbon waste to tiles. In fact, the first time I heard about it, I was blown away. I said, what? They're capturing carbon waste and turning it into tiles? I want these tiles. But tell me, if you have to tell people here 3 extremely simple ways or steps to avoid carbon waste, what would those be?
Thank you, Dia, for the question. It's an honor and you're an inspiration for all of us, I would say. There are lots of things that each one as an individual could do. Starting as simple as lights. We could change the incandescent lights to sort of LED lights.
CFLs to LED.
To LED lights. That's like a simple change. We could also stop taking say connecting flights. We can take non-stop flights because most of the carbon emission that happens is at when there's landing and then when there's takeoff. So there are very simple steps that each one of us could take. Like when we are at traffic, we can switch off and then not accelerate and go overboard beyond the speed limit. There's also a saying, right? When we say it like one person can do it, that there's a wave that can come out from that. It's as simple as a saying when they say, it's just one straw, said 8 billion people. And we are all walking sort of carbon emission right now. We all can start from that as a change.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree with you more. There was another thing, theory, which I actually wanted to ask you. If you take economy flights instead of doing like first in business, that's also reducing your carbon footprint, right?
Yes, that as well.
Awesome. Thank you for clarifying that. How many of you are going to start some of these things today? Raise your hands. Are you inspired? Okay, Dr. Purnima's husband is not allowed to raise his hand. I love saying that. Dr. Purnima's husband is not allowed to raise his hand. Okay. वर्षा जी, मैं आपसे आप और मैं बहुत सिमिलर हैं, राइट? हम एंटरटेनर्स हैं, कम्युनिकेटर्स हैं, लोगों से बात करते हैं और अपने काम के द्वारा हम एक बदलाव, एक चेंज लाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं. एज अ रेडियो जॉकी, you've tried to bring a lot of change. आपको क्या लगता है, एज इन्फ्लुएंसर्स हम सब क्या एक रोल प्ले कर सकते हैं टू ब्रिंग अबाउट चेंज? आप तो जीता जाता एग्जाम्पल है इस बात का, और मेरी उम्मीद भी यही है कि मेरे जो एक्शंस हैं वो इंस्पायर करे लोगों को. लेकिन बहुत सारे लोग हैं ये जो नहीं समझते इस बात को. आपको लगता है कि सब में ये क्षमता है टू ब्रिंग चेंज?
बिल्कुल. थैंक यू सो मच मैम. और सबसे पहले तो गुड मॉर्निंग मुंबई. मेरा नाम वर्षा है और मैं बुंदेलखंड से हूँ, एक आरजे, और रेडियो बुंदेलखंड में काफी समय से काम कर रही हूँ. तो क्लाइमेट को लेकर जो मेरे अंदर एक लगा था कि मुझे क्लाइमेट को लेकर काम करना है, वो मेरे साथी और मेरे घर दोनों तरफ से मुझे इसमें मदद मिली है. और मुझे लगता है जिस तरह से हम सोचते हैं ना कि जीवन जीने के लिए हमें 3 चीजों की जरूरत होती है, रोटी, कपड़ा, मकान, ठीक है, राइट? तो अगर हम उसी तरीके से ये सोचे ना कि उन तीनों चीजों में अगर हमें जिंदा रहना है तो हमें सांसें भी बहुत जरूरी है. और वो सांसें अगर बहुत ज्यादा पोल्यूशन भरी होंगी तो हम क्या रह पाएंगे? क्योंकि आज हमने क्लाइमेट के साथ इतना ज्यादा छेड़छाड़ किया है जिसकी वजह आज हमें कोरोना जैसी महामारी देखने को मिल रही है. तो अगर हम ऐसे ही इसके साथ खिलवाड़ करते रहेंगे और इसके बारे में सोचेंगे नहीं तो आने वाली जनरेशन को हम जो देकर जाएंगे ना, वो बहुत गंदे तरीके से उनको एक वातावरण देके जाएंगे. तो अगर हम बदलाव की बात करते हैं तो मुझे लगता है कि हम बस ये सोचें कि जिस तरह से हमारे लिए वो तीनों चीजें जरूरी हैं, उसी तरह से हमें पर्यावरण भी हमारे लिए जरूरी है. तो बिल्कुल चेंज होगा, सब कुछ बदलेगा. हम ये नहीं कह सकते कि बहुत बड़ा अगर हम कुछ बदलाव करेंगे तभी बदलाव आएगा, और किसी एक के करने से नहीं होगा. ये हमारी सोच है। हम दूसरों की वजह खुद में बदलाव लाना जब शुरू करेंगे ना, तो अल्टीमेटली आएगा ही आएगा, और उसे आना ही पड़ेगा। अगर हम बिना वजह कोई लाइट अगर जल रही है उसको बंद कर देते हैं, या फालतू का पानी कहीं बह रहा है उसे हम अगर बंद कर देते हैं, तो ये हमारा पर्यावरण को बचाने के लिए बहुत बड़ा योगदान होगा। हम एक रास्ते पे 4-4 लोग जा रहे हैं, वहां पर चारों अलग अलग गाड़ियां लेकर जा रहे हैं, लेकिन अगर हम एक ही गाड़ी में एडजस्ट होकर जा सकते हैं, ऑफिस जा सकते हैं, तो हमें पोल्यूशन करने की जरूरत ही नहीं पड़ेगी। जिस तरह से हम चारों गाड़ियां ले जा रहे हैं और पोल्यूशन को कह रहे हैं भाई आओ आओ, तो इस तरह से नहीं। मुझे लगता है कि हम सबको मिलकर ये कदम उठाने चाहिए, और बहुत छोटे छोटे से बदलाव हैं जो हम अपनी रोजमर्रा की जिंदगी में कर सकते हैं और जो काफी बड़ा बदलाव लेकर आ सकते हैं। मैंने रेडियो से बहुत सारी चीजें सीखी हैं, जिसमें मेरे साथी मनीष ने बहुत साथ दिया है, मेरी फैमिली ने मुझे बहुत सपोर्ट किया है, और मैंने सीखा है कि ये हमारे लिए जरूरी है, क्योंकि बुंदेलखंड के जो व्यक्ति थे पहले वो शायद उस चीज को नहीं समझते थे। उन्हें नहीं लगता था कि क्लाइमेट अगर हो रहा है तो उसके जिम्मेदार हम खुद हैं। वो समझते थे कि यार हो रहा है ठीक है, भगवान की मर्जी है, अब हम इसमें क्या कर सकते हैं। लेकिन जब बारिश बिन मौसम के बारिश हुई, बहुत ज्यादा फसल बहुत ज्यादा खराब हुई, तब उनको समझ में आया कि यार मैंने जो पेड़ लगाए नहीं है, काटे बहुत ज्यादा हैं। मैंने जंगल बचाने के लिए कुछ नहीं किया है, लेकिन पिछला जो अगर इतिहास उठा के देखा जाए तो आसपास कितने सारे जंगल हुआ करते थे। आज तो वो है ही नहीं, तो कहीं ना कहीं इसके पीछे हमारा ही कारण है कि हमने इनके साथ इतनी ज्यादा छेड़छाड़ की है। थैंक यू।
बिल्कुल सही कहा वर्षा आपने। आई थिंक हम ऐसे टाइम से गुजर रहे हैं जहाँ पे क्लाइमेट क्राइसिस एक थियोरी नहीं है, एक रियलिटी है, हम सब उससे जूझ रहे हैं। और आपने दूसरी सही बात ये कही कि रोटी कपड़ा मकान तो तब चाहिए होगा जब सांस लेने को स्वच्छ हवा और पीने को पानी और धरती जिसमें हमारे फसल उग सकते हो वो हो। अगर ये सब ना हो तो फिर मकान का क्या करेंगे और बाकी सब चीजों का क्या करेंगे।
दिया मैम, एक और बात जो मैं बोलना चाहूंगी, पहले मैंने देखा था बुंदेलखंड में पानी की बहुत क्राइसिस थी, अभी भी है कहीं ना कहीं, लेकिन जिन गांव में सरकार द्वारा या कुछ प्राइवेट एनजीओज हैं जिनके माध्यम से पानी वहां पर पहुंचा है, वहीं अगर उसका उल्टा असर देखा जाए ना, तो लोगों में अब वो जो पानी को बचाने की ललक थी एक, वो खत्म हो चुकी है। नल आ रहे हैं, पूरा दिन पानी बहेगा। वो नहीं समझते हैं कि जब पानी नहीं था, मार्च और जुलाई इस महीने में जब पानी के लिए आपको भागना पड़ता था, यहाँ से
एक मटके के लिए 100
किलोमीटर जाना पड़ता था और सर पे रख के आपको लाना पड़ता था। आज आप उसी पानी को इतना वेस्ट कर रहे हैं और वो बह रहा है, तो उससे और ज्यादा नुकसान क्या हो रहा है कि आपकी हेल्थ को भी दिक्कत देगा आगे चल के, क्योंकि उसमें मच्छर पनप रहे हैं, उसमें गंदगी हो रही है, आपका रास्ता खराब हो रहा है। तो मुझे लगता है कि जब आप खुद से चीजें करना शुरू करेंगे दूसरों को समझाने की बजाय, तो जरूर होगा कुछ ना कुछ अच्छा।
थैंक यू वर्षा जी, थैंक यू सो मच फॉर दैट इंस्पिरेशन। यू आर राइट, आपने जितनी भी बातें कही सब सही कही। विद्युत, I had the privilege of, talking to you and handing over an award to you as a young champion of Earth by the UNEP. Of course, recently you also won the Earthshot Prize. Congratulations, we are very proud of you. You were very much younger when I first met you. You're still very young. And I think this is a question that every person here would love to hear the answer for. How early do you think one can start to make a difference and be a good citizen of the earth?
Thank you so much, Dia, for that question, and it's really a big honor for me to be here. I think it's never too late or never too early to start working towards protecting the planet. Particularly, we can be agents of change just by living our lives itself. For example, if we prioritize our needs over wants and think about that while making a purchase decision, like, do I really need this or do I really want this? You are an agent of change, however old or young you are. And if everyone starts doing that together, that can create a big impact. But I also think that young parents need to start to have conversations with their children, about ways they can start protecting the planet and issues surrounding the planet at the moment. And and who knows, maybe the next UNAP young champ is not a 20 or 30-year-old, but 7 or 10-year-old.
So true. I mean, I'm a new mother, and I have to tell you that I've already started teaching my son the importance of making a connection with nature. So we spend time in the garden through sensory experiences, whether it's walking barefoot. He can't walk yet, but I hold him. He walks through the grass. He touches flowers. He feels leaves. He looks at birds with wonder and awe. And I know that this is going to be something that will nurture and facilitate a deep, abiding relationship and love. Because at the end of the day, आप सबने जितने भी यहाँ पे बातें की, वो कुछ भी possible नहीं हो सकता unless there is an understanding and love and connection with nature. So you're absolutely right. I really believe that young people need to learn early. And the earlier they start learning, the sooner they will become champions of nature. Thank you so much, Vidyut. Okay, I've saved the best for the last. Of course, all of them are best in every possible way. But रुक्मिणी जी बहुत स्पेशल हैं, बहुत ही ज़्यादा स्पेशल हैं. और मैं आपसे ये पूछना चाहूँगी रुक्मिणी जी, आपने साबित कर दिया कि परिवर्तन लाने के लिए आपको बड़े शहर से होना ज़रूरी नहीं है, आपको किसी फैंसी डिग्री की ज़रूरत नहीं है. आपके विचार से प्लैनेट पृथ्वी के संरक्षण के लिए वो कौन सा एक गुण होना चाहिए दिल के अलावा?
थैंक यू एवरीवन, सबको गुड आफ्टरनून. और मैं मेरा नाम रुक्मिणी देवी कटारा है. मैं गांव से हूँ, क्योंकि हम इंग्लिश तो नहीं समझ पाएंगे, मैं हिंदी में ही बोलूँगी. 2016 से हमने ये काम स्टार्ट किया था. मतलब 2015 में मैंने काम किया था. एक एनजीओ से मैं जुड़ी हुई थी जो नरेगा में काम करते हैं. नरेगा का काम आप लोग तो समझ ही नहीं पाते, लेकिन एक पहाड़ तोड़ के अंदर से पत्थर निकालना, उसको पाली बनाना, वैसा काम मैं कर रही थी. और एक किराना की दुकान थी मेरे पास. मैं क्या करती, सुबह 7 बजे गए वहां चले जाती थी. वहीं से आने के बाद फिर मैं घर का काम कर लेती थी और प्लस दुकान चला लेती थी. और हस्बैंड जाते थे दुकान पे और 300-400 रुपए कमा लेते थे. फिर ऐसे नहीं से ये एनजीओ वाले लोग आए तो दीदी तुम क्या करते हो? मैंने कहा मैं क्या करती हूँ, मैं नरेगा में काम करती हूँ प्लस मेरी दुकान है. मतलब वो भी मेरे लिए बहुत बड़ी थी है ना उस समय. तो मैंने उनको ये कहा था, तो उन्होंने कहा कि दीदी तुम क्यों मतलब बचत कैसे करते हो, अगर कभी किसी की जरूरत पड़ गई तो क्या कैसे काम चला लेते हो? मैंने कहा देखो हमारी जो दागिना होता है, मतलब रकम होती है, वो गिरवी रख के हम काम चला लेते हैं. तो उन्होंने कहा दीदी देखो तुम थोड़े समझदार दिख रहे हो, तुमको कुछ न कुछ तो करना चाहिए, तुम 12 लोग मिल के कुछ तो करो. मैंने कहा ठीक है हम करते लेंगे, लेकिन हमारी 12 महिला मनाने मुश्किल हो जाएगी. तो उन लोगों ने कहा नहीं आप कोशिश करो, हम दूसरे दिन फिर आएंगे. लेकिन उन लोगों ने 10-12 दिन परेशान किया. राजीविका से आए थे वो लोग. फिर उन्होंने परेशान किया. हमारे दीदी लोगों को मैंने पूछा तो दीदी लोग मना कर रहे कि नहीं दीदी ऐसे ऐसे लोग बहुत सारे आ गए, बहुत पैसे खा गए, अपन इस चीज में नहीं फंसेंगे. मैंने कहा मैं दुकान चलाती हूँ, आप लोगों के जितने भी पैसे फंसेंगे मैं दे दूंगी, लेकिन तुम लोग तैयार तो हो जाओ. तो वो लोग तैयार हुए. फिर इसके बाद मेरे ही गांव में, मेरे विलेज में मतलब 19 एसएजी हुई. मतलब 19 तो हो गई, मतलब 200 के आसपास महिला हो गई. तो इसका एक ग्रुप बनाया. इस ग्रुप में सभी को 7 दिन की तैयारी करवाई. लेकिन वहां पे कुछ भी नहीं होता. जो मैं काम करती हूँ वहां अंगूठा छापी महिला दिखते रहे. कुछ महिला है पढ़ी लिखी जो समझ जाती थी. फिर उन लोगों ने कहा कि देखो, मैंने कहा देखो अभी अध्यक्ष बनना है, अध्यक्ष कोषाध्यक्ष और सचिव 3 चीज बना जाते थे, उसमें तन पद दिया जाते थे. तो मैंने कहा देखो मेरे पास तो टाइम है नहीं, मैं नरेगा में रहती हूँ प्लस मेरी दुकान चलाती हूँ, तो घर से मुझे निकलने नहीं देंगे, लेकिन तुम लोग तैयार हो जाओ उसमें मैं साथ दूंगे. तो उन लोगों ने मना कर दिया नहीं कुछ भी हो लेकिन रुक्मिणी दीदी ही होगी. फिर मैं वहां से निकली, डूंगरपुर आई. डूंगरपुर आने के बाद 32 पंचायत के ऊपर हमने काम किया. वहीं पे यही काम था, आना जाना. तो हमारे मतलब आने जाने का घर का खर्चा चल रहा, मतलब घर से वही पैसे लेके जाते थे आते थे. तो मैंने हमारे सीआरएफ में बात की कि सर ये तो नहीं हो पाएगा क्योंकि मैं खुद के पैसे घर नहीं चला रही हूँ और तुम्हारे पीछे फिर खर्चा करो तो कहाँ से करूंगी। फिर हमारे इंद्र सिंह जी कलेक्टर सर थे, वो कहीं बांसवाड़ा गए थे, तो वो एक एसटीडी लैम्प का काम देख के आए थे। उन्होंने कहा कि ये काम कैसे होता है, तो वहीं से किसी कलेक्टर सर ने बताया कि हम ऐसे ऐसे कर रहे थे। उन्होंने आके हमारे यहाँ पे मतलब सर ने कहा कि अपने बहुत सारी महिला जुड़ी हुई है तो कुछ तो करो। तो फिर सभी के बीच में बात डाली कि हाँ आप एसटीडी लैम्प का काम चालू करो। फिर सब लोग बदल गए कि ये एसटीडी लैम्प होता क्या है, सोलर होता क्या है, इसका आउटपुट कैसे निकलता है, इसके मतलब कारण कैसे निकालना, ये सब कुछ हम नहीं कर पाएंगे। मैंने कहा एक बार तुम लोग ये काम ले लो हाथ में, फिर करने में मैं रात दिन के लिए हाजिर हूँ, मतलब सबका ग्रुप पक्का होना चाहिए। तो उन लोगों ने कहा हाँ दीदी हम तैयार है। मैंने उनको ये भी बताया देखो पोल्यूशन वजह से सिटी में हर जगह हर की बिजली आती है, लेकिन हमारा गांव में बिजली नहीं आती है। इस पहाड़ पे मकान है, दूसरे पहाड़ पे मकान रहता है, तो वहां पे बच्चे तो पढ़ नहीं पाते, बच्चे नौकरी करेंगे कहाँ से, शिक्षित होंगे कहाँ से। मैंने उन लोगों को बताया देखो शिक्षित लोग करने हैं तो अपन को इसमें घुसना ही होगा, और इतना अच्छा मौका मिला, वो मौका बार बार नहीं मिलेगा। तो हमने भी वो एसटीडी लैम्प एक घर में 2 देने के स्टार्ट किए। एक तो मम्मी को दे रहे थे क्योंकि मम्मी खाना बनाते समय बच्चों से ले लेती थी, बच्चे पढ़ नहीं पाते थे। प्लस सिमनी से जो लोग बच्चे मतलब पढ़ाई कर रहे थे तो उनकी आंखों से मतलब आंसू वगैरह निकलते थे, मतलब बहुत सारे दिक्कतें होती थी। वो मेरे साथ भी हुई थी, मैं सोच रही थी कि हमारे बच्चों के साथ नहीं हो। तो हमने कहा सर हम तैयार हैं। तो सर ने कहा कैसे करोगे। मैंने कहा आप एक बार लिख के दे दो, भाई साइन कर दो, इस पे शर्त रख दो, सर के अनुसार हम करके देंगे ना। इतनी पढ़ी लिखी नहीं हो ने कैसे करोगे। सर उसमें पढ़े लिखे का मतलब इतना सवाल नहीं है, हम लोग करेंगे कैसा भी है, पर एक बार करने तो दो। फिर अगर दोबारा नहीं कर पाए तो तुम उस समय फिर ले सकते हो, मतलब कुछ भी जगह। तो सर ने कहा कि एक शर्त रखता हूँ, मैं 3 महीना का मोहलत देता हूँ, अगर 3 महीने में 40,000 एसटीडी लैम्प वितरण करके दे दिए तो तुम्हारी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग खोला जाएगी, अगर ये चीज नहीं करोगे तो तुमको कुछ भी नहीं मिलेगा। तो हमने क्या किया, हमने 3 महीनों में पूरी मतलब 40,000 एसटीडी लैम्प वितरण कर दिए, और हमारे बच्चे को भी उस समय मतलब इतना अच्छा रिजल्ट आया कि पूछो मत गाँव में। फिर हमने एक एक स्कूल विजिट की कि सर को बताया कि सर क्या है ये, देखो अब कैसे ही उन बच्चों को रिजल्ट आया। कुछ बच्चे ऐसे लाए थे, कुछ बच्चे ऐसे पढ़ रहे थे। अब पढ़े कैसे, क्योंकि गांव में लाइट ही नहीं है तो कैसे पढ़ेंगे। केरोसिन कितना मिल रहा था, 3 लीटर, 3 लीटर से कितना चलेगा, 1 महीना घर नहीं चल पा रहा था। तो वो एसटीडी लैम्प से उन बच्चों को इतना फायदा हो गया कि 2 घंटे चार्जिंग करो, 12 घंटा यूज करो ऑन टाइम। हमने खुद ने यही यूज किया। फिर मैंने धीरे धीरे सर ने कहा फर्स्ट कंपनी खोली। सर ने कहा कि आप हमारे कलेक्टर सर को अवार्ड मिला जिला डूंगरपुर का नाम से, सोलर का अच्छा काम किया। सर ने कहा कौन महिला आना चाह रही है। मैंने कहा सर जो काम किया वही आना चाहेंगे। तो फर्स्ट कलेक्टर सर को अवार्ड मिला, तो मोदी सर से मिलने के लिए मैं गई थी। मतलब ऐसे ऐसे मैं 6 बार मोदी सर से भी मिली, तब भी मुझे ऐसा रियलाइज नहीं हुआ था कि चलो मैं किसी से मिल रही हूँ। अरे मेरा क्या, मेरा तो गाँव का विकास होना चाहिए, मेरा डूंगरपुर F1 होना चाहिए। मैंने दिल लगा कर काम किया। इसमें इतनी सारी कठिनाई आती है, आप समझो मैं हद से ज्यादा भी उस चीजों में भी गई, पर फिर भी मैंने हार नहीं मानी, क्योंकि मैं हमारी दीदी लोगों को रोजगार मिल रहा है। एक इंसान कमाता है 300 रुपये में क्या चलता है, कुछ भी नहीं, लेकिन हमारे लिए 300 रुपये 2 दिन का खर्च निकाल देते थे। फिर हमारे है ना जो दीदी लोग कमाने लग गई, मतलब हम अभी भी 55 महिला को रोजगार दे रहे हैं, और कुछ लोग राजीविका के थ्रू को मतलब दे रहे हैं। ऐसे ऐसे सबको अलग अलग पार्टनर में पैसे मतलब उनको रोजगार दे रहे हैं, वो आराम से कमा रहे। तो वो हमारा घर भी चल रहा है, प्लस हम बच्चों को मतलब थोड़ा बहुत अच्छे पढ़ा लेते हैं। मैं खुद ही देखो एक दुकान चला रही थी, किराना का काम कर रही थी, आज मेरा बच्चा इंजीनियरिंग कर रहा है और 2 बच्चे में फाइनल में है। तो मैंने भी उन बच्चों को मतलब मैं कैसे भी परिस्थिति में रही, लेकिन मेरे बच्चे वहीं तक नहीं होने चाहिए, इसलिए मैं सक्सेसफुल कर रही हूँ। और IIT मुंबई से हमारे सोलंकी सर हैं, वो परमानेंट हमारा सहयोग करते हैं, और राजीविका से स्टाफ रहता है, और राजीविका पूरी महिला रहती है ग्रुप थ्रू, क्योंकि ग्रुप के बिना काम नहीं कर पाते। तो वो सब लोग रहते हैं। और अभी भी यहाँ आप लोगों ने बुलाया, बहुत बड़ी बात है, क्योंकि नेशनल ज्योग्राफी पे आना बहुत बड़ी बात होती है ना। उनकी बहुत बड़े फैन हूँ, मैं भी धन्यवाद करना चाहूंगी, क्योंकि मेरा साथ दिया है। और मैं यही चाहती हूँ अभी हमारे डूंगरपुर में इतने मैंने मतलब कंपनी इतनी बड़ी है, 1 वाट से लेकर 100 वाट तक मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कर रही है और 1 किलोवाट से लेकर 50 किलोवाट तक हम लगा रहे हैं, इंस्टॉलेशन कर रहे हैं। तो हमारे पास बड़े पैनल बनाने के लिए मशीन नहीं है, तो हम क्या कर रहे हैं, मैंने ट्रेडिंग कर रहे हैं, दूसरी कंपनी से खरीद रहे हैं। और जो छोटे पैनल है जो हमारी कंपनी से जा रहे हैं, और वो पैनल पे क्या हम ये चीजें जानते ही नहीं थे कि कैसे सेल आता है, कैसे रिबिन आती है, क्या है ये। मतलब हम तो पहले सीखने के लिए गए थे, देखते थे और यार ये तो टूट रहा है, अरे ये क्या है, ये तो अपन ऐसे तोड़ देंगे। मतलब मजाक में पूरा काम सीख गए। रिबिन थी इसकी, स्क्वायर फीट कितना होता है, क्या होता है, मतलब हर चीज एक से जेड पूरे तक हमारी महिला सीख गई। और 10 महिला तो ऐसी है बिल्कुल अंगूठा साफ है, फिर भी वो भी पूरा पैनल मिला के कंप्लीट कर लेती है।
रुक्मिणी जी,
और 55 महिलाएं जो पहले दिन
रुक्मिणी जी, आपको हम मौका देंगे सबसे फिर से बात करने के लिए, है ना?
तो
लेकिन आपने 3 बहुत बड़ी चीजें कही हमसे।
ये ना 55 महिलाओं को फर्स्ट दिन उन्होंने 80 पैनल बनाए थे, आज वही महिला पूरा दिन के 2000 पैनल बना लेती है।
सुपर। तो आपके
मैंने बहुत ज्यादा टाइम ले लिया, पर
नहीं बिल्कुल नहीं,
यही है मेन चीज।
आप I told you I'm saving the best for last. But there are 3 interventions that she shared with us, which I just want to consolidate here. One is access to information and awareness. That is the first step towards change, and I think that's what National Geographic is doing here today. Giving people the access to the knowledge, the information, and the change that we can make as individuals. For Rukmini ji, if she hadn't had access to that one person who taught her that she can be a solar engineer without being educated, without being qualified, today there are so many more women who are solar engineers, who are creating energy swaraj in not just Dungarpur but other parts of the country. This is also very powerful information for all of us. And the third, of course, is the benefits of when a woman is empowered, a family is empowered, and the earth is empowered. And especially when the woman works with the earth. So, salam aapko Rukmini ji. और उन सब औरतों को, उन सब महिलाओं को जो आपके साथ काम करती हैं, आपसे जुड़ी हैं और आपके तरह समाज में अपनी रोशनी फैला रही हैं। I don't want to wrap this up. Can I talk to them all day?
Yes. Yeah,
but, I'm going to leave them for all of you. I hope that their stories inspire you, to inspire your readers, your followers, your viewers. I'm once again going to express my deepest gratitude to National Geographic for making me a part of this very special program. It's meant the world to me to introduce these wonderful human beings to you here. And what an honor and privilege. Thank you, Natchio.
Well, as Dia, you said, please sit. As Dia said, you know what, can I just let them go on, talk to them the entire day? हम सभी मंत्र मुग्ध हो गए थे, हम ऐसे दंग रह गए थे इनकी कहानियां, जो initiatives हैं इनके, and I would like to thank National Geographic for bringing these stories, to billions of people across the world. So thank you, and with that, let's bring on the hot seat for Kevin, sir. May I request you please join us back on stage for the media Q&A. Thank you. आप सभी चेंज मेकर्स ने हमें प्रेरित किया है, जागरूक किया है, बिकॉज हम हमारी दुनिया में ना ऐसे दंग से रह जाते हैं। हमारी रोजमर्रा की जिंदगी में हम उठते हैं, चलते हैं, दिन ढल जाता है और फिर दिल खत्म हो जाता है। चलते कि हमारी दुनिया है, हमारी छोटी सी दुनिया है, हम उसी में जीते रहते हैं। पर आप दुनिया के लिए काम करते हैं ताकि हमारी फ्यूचर जनरेशन है उन्हें एक बेटर दुनिया मिले। सो थैंक यू सो मच। एंड यहाँ पर one for change लिखा है, we can be that one for change. I saw that small thing when Dia was drinking water at the, she had a metal straw. These are small things that contribute, to the betterment of the future of our planet. And one more thing that I would want to state, because I'm also completely enamored, and the passionate words that came out from each and every change maker here. My sister posted a picture of an earthworm on social media a few days back. And I'm sure she's going to be extremely elated. I'm happy to be with all the change makers, especially, the worm Rani who's sitting next to me, because she told me, do you know what that is? I said, yeah, earthworm, but why would you post it on social media? She's like, that's my best friend and that's the caption. So I asked her, why would you say that? She said, that is one of the most integral part of our ecosystem. So it's the earthworm. We don't know the value of these small things that, actually help us function through our life. So we have to be thankful, and thankful to all our change makers. Thank you so much for being that one for change. Thank you. And with that, I'm going to open the floor for media Q&A. Sawal Jawab ka silsila shuru hota hai. We'll be floating the mics and request all of you to please keep your questions revolving to the initiative and to the event that we are gathered here for. Please.
I suppose you're also going to get individual time with the change makers for more in-depth conversations. So this is, I think, more for, just everyone else.
Yeah, and that's why my question is for you, Dia. I am Nivedita from IANS.
Hi, Nivedita.
We talk about reducing carbon footprints, and as a UN Goodwill Ambassador, you are here to lend support to the cause. What will be your message to the influential persons such as you, the celebrity kind from all fields, and the policy makers? What change they can bring about?
I think the first and the most important step is to understand that we're all citizens of this planet. It's our only home, and it is going through an acute crisis. There is a triple planetary crisis that we are experiencing. One, of course, is climate change. Second is pollution. The third is biodiversity degradation, loss of biodiversity. Now, these are three things that all of us have to be aware of, conscious about, and find ways to invest in changes in our lifestyle, in our ways of living and thinking and being, to help reduce the impacts that we have caused and contributed in this crisis. I don't want to sound alarmist, but it is absolutely necessary that every single human being who has access to this information act on it and find ways to make a change. There are many scientific interventions and energy solutions. So when you talk about government and policy and bureaucracy, there are many interventions that are currently underway that need to get, of course, expedited, accelerated. This can only happen when you have finance, and whether it is private finance or finance from the first world countries that needs to come to countries, societies, developing societies like our own. This money has to be made available to us for us to be able to effectively shift to the renewables that we need to, right? India is already doing really well on the solar power front. There's, of course, a lot more that can be done. Waste management is a very critical area, and there's something that we've been working on called the extended producer's responsibility. And I hope that it goes through, it becomes not just a guideline, but a law, because we need the polluters, the industries that are polluting, to become responsible for the waste that they're generating and, of course, the emissions that they're introducing into the environment. What can you and I do? We can make simple changes in our life. I always use the example of the rainbow, 7 colors and 7 steps. Would you like me to share those with you? Okay. The first, of course, is to refuse all single-use plastics. Carry your own bottle, carry your own cutlery, keep your own traveling mug. Refuse plastic straws. Thankfully, now the government has created a list of items that will no longer be available from July, I think. Unfortunately, the plastic bag hasn't made its way on that list, but we can refuse the plastic bag by carrying our own bags whenever we go shopping. The second thing that I think all of us can do is replace CFL bulbs with LEDs at home and switch to energy efficient technologies, and of course the power of repair, reuse and recycle at home. So instead of wanting the next best gadget or the newest gadget, choose to be efficient and reuse and repair whatever is already efficient and is doing well. The third thing that I think we can all do is take shorter baths, waste less. So I make my baths last one song. No longer and no shorter. So sing if you must, but don't let it go beyond one song. The fourth thing is, I know many people have all kinds of counter arguments to this, but I really believe in the power of practicing a mostly vegetarian diet. I think it's a very, very powerful intervention, even more powerful when you choose to eat seasonal fruits and vegetables, and especially more powerful when it's locally grown and locally produced. The carbon footprint on fruits and vegetables can be enormous if when it's traveled far and wide. The fifth thing that I think we can all easily do that we practice at home is managing waste at source. Please compost your wet waste. All your kitchen waste can turn into black gold. You can visit Mahani ma'am's Instagram page to learn how to compost. I've been doing it for the last 7 years now. We are a zero waste society, and I can't tell you how proud I feel when I call myself the kachre wali of the co-op, because I behave like a class monitor. It's great fun. The fruits, the dividends are great because we get to use the compost as manure for our plants, and it's a very important intervention. The sixth thing that I think we can all do is, choose sustainable products. So think about every cleaner that you're bringing into your home. Does it have chemicals? How will it affect the soil and the water when it mixes with soil or water? So using natural cleaners, detergents, soaps, products that are not harmful to the environment. And the seventh thing is to grow more trees. I can't emphasize that more emphatically. So one of the things that I do, and I really enjoy it, is if it's a colleague's or a friend's birthday or anniversary or wedding, or somebody's child has been born, I celebrate that special occasion by growing trees in their name. So it's I've grown over 8,000 trees in the last few years, just doing that, just celebrating occasions. So, yeah. The colors of the rainbow. 7 things that I think all of us can find a way to do. Yes, please.
Can we have a mic here in the first row, please? Please, go ahead.
Hello, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. So we are here for one change, and there is one more change in the Bollywood as you are a part of Bollywood. So in the recent time, Bollywood, where the South movies are coming up and earning 1,000 crore rupees. And when we talk about the Hindi movies are shifting their dates forward. So how do you see this change, ma'am?
It's really not relevant to what we're talking about today. I'm not going to answer that question. I'm
ma'am,
sorry.
as you are part of Bollywood, so
that's okay. I'm here today to talk about something so special and so wonderful. Why should we talk about that?
As we can see the change in the Bollywood, so I think you should answer this.
No, sorry. Thank you.
We are here for
Please
the
go
change,
ahead.
for the betterment of our environment.
We're talking about the earth, we're talking about environment. We're not here to talk about why one industry is doing differently from another.
No, ma'am, but the fans want to know. That's why I'm asking you this question.
Can we pass the mic to the gentleman in the front, please? Thank
As
you
I requested
so
the
much.
start of the media Q&A, I request to please keep your questions revolving to the initiative
Right
and the
here?
event. Thank you.
Thank you.
Here, please. Thank you.
She's quickly clarifying what his question will be.
Yeah.
Having the mic. एक बार गलती हो गई, वापस नहीं दोहराऊंगी. Yes, sir.
I have a question here for Kevin. It's a nice initiative by Nat Geo, and it has always been good with such kind of a change is required when we have a global warming coming across. Now, when we have 35 cities in India, which are ranked among top 50 most polluted cities in the world, do we have any specific plans, whereby we can contribute towards a better change? Because this pollution that we see in these 35 cities in the India are largely contributed by industry or industrial pollution or any pollution that is coming largely from e-waste. So do we plan anything for that?
You can. You can.
No, but just to answer,
I think what you just said is so powerful. It's something that bothers you, clearly. It should bother all of us.
See, when
Make more people care about it. Make more people understand that it's a crisis that we're dealing with. And find a call to action, get people involved.
See, we are talking about call
That's
to action.
what
See,
One
we are
for
talking
Change is all about.
Right, definitely. See, we are talking about call for action at an individual level, or you can say at a very minuscule level. But when we talk about call for a change, when we have a poor AQI, we need an action on a mass, and we need an action at an because this pollution is not coming from an individual, or it's not coming from a small scale level. It's an wholesale pollution.
See, one of the pillars that National Geographic works on is love for the planet. Now, it's not about, I don't think so it's about us looking at any one specific. I'm saying for us, it's about educating, it's about inspiring people, and it's about putting up inspiring stories that will make everyone make that small change. If you look at in today's date, you've met these 10 change makers. I'm saying is, the great thing about it is, it clearly says, age no bar. Okay, you've had, I'm saying is, someone as young 20 who's decided to do things by himself. Okay, it also says, I'm saying is, education no bar. In the end of the day, I just think I'm saying is what we keep on doing. I'm saying with all our shows and with this show too, with One for Change, it's about inspiring individuals. It's about everyone learning from their stories and trying to see how they can make that one change. As someone rightly put it, saying that you can make that change by saying instead of moving in a car with 4 and having a family of 4 going to different places, if you all can go and pull in. Okay, and I think it's about us. It's about only about trying to bring these stories to the forefront, inspiring people, and if we can inspire as many of our viewers to make those small changes in whichever area, I think it's a job well done.
I also think that when you highlight stories, since you're talking about air pollution, you take what Tejas is doing or take what Vidyut is doing or even what Vani ji is doing, because each of their efforts are unique, but they're all 3 contributing to reducing air pollution. I think that people's understanding of that will increase. And I always say, when we learn about the interventions that are actually making a difference, it might inspire more people to incorporate those interventions. Today, I may only choose to use tiles that are made like this, or there are more people who may be inspired to start composting waste at home. I understand that your concern is that when industrial pollution is the big contributor, how do individual actions impact change? I think they do, collectively they do, because awareness then leads to more people asking the right questions and demanding action at a policy level, at a government level, at every level. And you can lead that change. I really want to meet you 5 years from now.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And with that, that's all the time we have for the Q&A, because they also mentioned that we'd be having one-on-one with the change makers in a very short while with the friends from the media. So that's all the time we have. Would like to thank everybody for joining us, and thank you for inspiring us. Thank you for the insightful and inspiring session here. And thank you for being wonderful and patient audience. Like I mentioned before, we're trying to make this event a zero waste event. You'll notice that
you've made it a zero waste event.
Yeah, but
it is a zero waste event.
Each and every individual also has to contribute when they step out and go into the pre-function area. So, help us segregate the waste and the, materials rightly. So please make that move, as they said. Be the one for change. It starts from us. But please do cooperate and support us as we move into the pre-function area for lunch and as we end this wonderful event, wishing everyone happy Earth Day in advance. Let's do that small act of change starting today. Well, change begins with one. Thank you once again for joining us, and thank you to all our change makers. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Dia. Thank you.
Well, we've got a nice place outside as well for a nice photo op with a brilliant on-the-change background. So they're going to be headed out there for a nice photo op. So may I request?
अंदर देखिए Okay, got it.